We continue our conversation now on Christie, if he's going to run for president, and if he does he have any kind of a shot? And when the networks want to talk about all things Christie, they go to our next guest. We're honored to have him with us now. Bob Ingle, New York Times best-selling author, columnist, and radio host. And you can read his stuff now at bobingle99.com. Thank you for being here. You heard the conversation a moment ago. What were your thoughts?
I'm not as optimistic as they are. I guess you could say that a snowball has a chance in hell. And in politics, there is nothing that is certain and for sure, as you know, and a week is like a year. Having said that, though, I think he missed his chance. I think last time around, before Bridgegate, before he had so many critics saying you haven't been a good governor of New Jersey, I think he had a better chance. There's a lot of people in this race, and there are going to be a few more getting in, apparently, for people to make a choice from. And if you're these people who give money to candidates, and they want something in return for their money, of course, so they're looking at, well, I could give to Christie and he has his baggage, or this guy over here, maybe his baggage isn't quite as bad, and that's a decision that they're making. Plus, if you look at the polling out of New Hampshire, the latest one I saw, he was like number 10 of 10 candidates on the polling.
But there's been some where he's been hovering around double digits, and that's what surprised me, and that's when I thought, well, maybe he does have a chance.
Well, the other part of it was bad. He was number one in something. He was number one in the least trusted politician.
Oh, and that's a killer.
That will kill you. Plus, this thing with Bridgegate is going to go on. Now, if they have trials, and that's what it looks like at this point, that's going to be getting a lot of national attention. They would like it to be something that people outside of New Jersey don't care about, but it just isn't. People are interested in that. And so he's going to have that going for him too. New Hampshire really is his only chance, and he's trying to do his town hall meeting thing, which at least on paper, looks like it would go very well in New Hampshire. But when you look at the early states, Iowa, Florida, South Carolina, it doesn't look really good for him.
Let me do a couple positives for Christie and maybe a path forward.
Okay.
The people that vote are Republicans. And many of the Republicans in New Hampshire think he's getting an unfair shot from the media. They think it's MSNBC and the New York Times. He can play upon that. Also, as you said, he's good at retail politics, and New Hampshire is retail politics. Third, they love doing something a little different, especially from Iowa.
Right.
Do you think there's a winning formula, at least in winning New Hampshire there?
I think he has a chance, and once again, it's a chance. He has to be in the top 3 in New Hampshire. If he goes any lower, he can forget about it. But you never know how population is going to go, how voters are going to go. Somebody may stumble really badly and then Christie moves up a little bit. Or there could be something else that happens and Christie moves down. You just never know. It's not predictable. I didn't say it's impossible. I think there is a route, but I think it gets harder every day.
You know, it's funny because I asked the question, should he run, to Bob and Matt, and they both laughed when I said that. But I think it's a relevant question. Would he be a good president?
Well, based on what he's done as governor, no. Because in the second term, he's done very little for New Jersey. He spent most of his time running for president, actually. He's a bright guy. He's very thin-skinned, and you can't be that if you're president or even governor, for that matter. He would certainly have to have more vetting of the people around him. And that whole shoot from the hip temper thing can't work as president either. So there are a lot of things going against him. I think he could be. He certainly is intelligent enough, and he's a hard worker. He works harder than just about any politician I've ever known. So I guess it could be, but I think the people's perception in the end is going to be that he wouldn't be.
Bob, thank you so much.
You bet.
I appreciate the time. Bob Ingle, New York Times best-selling author, columnist, and radio host. And please go to his site to read his stuff now, bobingle99.com. When we come back, look who's moving into the neighborhood. Dawn shows you how to get up close and personal with gorillas.